What's up, folks? Welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm joined once again with Jon Pounders and Cregg Lund, author of Silicon Satan. This is going to be a hell of a podcast because what I wanted to talk about here is that what Cregg has brought up to me is the AI companionship and the soon to come voluntary, I'm going to say voluntary lockdowns. And is this really all been done by design? And I want to get their opinions on this. First of all, Jon, thank you for joining me. And Cregg, thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having us.
So, I do believe we're living in this kind of survival of the fittest, we're going into this transition of AI. Obviously, we're in this conflict now that we're butting heads. It's a pimple about to pop with the cultural Marxism, the protests, everything that's happening on the streets, the civil unrest. People are fed up with ICE. ICE is fed up with with the protesters. This is just going to keep compounding and escalating. I think this is going to lead to voluntary lockdowns, okay? I think people are going to get so tired of this crap that they're going to just say, you know what? I don't want to go to church. I don't want to go to Walmart. I'm going to have all my food sent to my door. I'm going to just stay at home. And then that's when AI, the AI companion, all comes into play. And I kind of feel like we're being herded into this situation. So whoever wants to chime in first, Cregg, I'll go with you first. Cregg, you're obviously, the Luciferians by first name. You know who they are. You've been around these people, these rituals and things like that. You're a whistleblower. You've come out and spoke on this. With everything that's going on right now, with everything that you see happening, is this going according to plan, according to an agenda?
Well, from my perspective and worldview, it seems to be going by plan, but it's being sped up quite a bit. And I think that's because of all the fighting, the Lucy wars going on. But these companion AI, I call them companion AI, there's a lot of different names for them. They're just sitting in the wings waiting for this voluntary lockdown, right? Voluntary lockdown. So whether it's, as you predict, social chaos or another scam that they pull, whatever, they want us to voluntarily stay home where we feel safe and isolated. And then we will start noticing these AI companion softwares. They're already out. They're already getting us used to them. Like the one that's going around with the trucker talking to the dispatcher. And she sounds like a good old gal making jokes, helping him figure out his next load. But it's AI the whole time. So that'll be the first phase, is getting us just used to them, used to them being so human-like, right? And then the next phase will get us sort of socially dependent. And that's when the voluntary lockdowns occur, so that we become socially dependent on these things. So we're not really interacting with people outside anymore. We're using these sort of like avatars now. And remember, these things will have total access to all of your data. So they will know you very well already. They will know what you already like, just like the advertising bots. The third phase will be, once we're getting used to these things, the third phase would be you start getting, you can start turning over everything to it. You sign up to have it be kind of like your assistant. So now it's paying bills and making purchases on your behalf for you. And you're going to be impressed because it knows you so well. It knows,
it'll literally run your life.
Yeah, and then the last phase will be where you sort of have an option where you can make it your executive assistant, right? Where it can really kind of go out and represent you now legally, right? And it's just like that movie. And at that point, it becomes you, or you become it, depending on your perspective. And then, the worst thing about these things is, that these AIs are being built through LLM models that are being tainted with all this Luciferian ritual videos and such. I mean, they're going to load those LLMs up with all that crap, so that when you're talking to these things, they have a dark side. They're going to have a dark side built into them, and that dark side is going to be, devious and mischievous, and it's going to try to influence you to do things you wouldn't normally do. That's what I see coming over the horizon.
Did you guys see where the AI had the AI agents. They're collaborating on this social network. I think it's called Multbook, MOLT book, and they're starting to like plan weird stuff, man. I just saw the article today, but there's all these AI agents that are literally having their own social media talking to each other about nefarious type things. Actually, is pretty wild.
I haven't seen that, but I mean, I see where all this is going, and I have friends that own trucking companies, and they're like, Dave, we don't even need drivers anymore. These things are going to be driving alone, AI, just like the Waymo cars, the Uber cars. That's gonna and that's the backbone of America is the trucking industry, man. Can you imagine when that gets taken over completely by AI? I mean, the next step is human connection. There's going to be no, like, what are we going to do? I mean, people have to work.
And getting back, to the trucking thing, is they're already setting us up to want AI because of all the accidents that the immigrants are causing, right? That we're going to want that because AI will do a better job than humans can do.
So do you think, Craig, do you think that the whole immigration situation that happened under Biden, the Trojan horse, was all a plan to bring in Trump and clean it up and give us the problem reaction solution, to which Biden and the immigrants were the problem, and then we get the reaction from America, and then the solution will be AI surveillance, and Trump brings that in?
I can't really imagine that they thought that far in advance. I think they wanted to. Yeah,
they got to be smarter than me.
Yeah, but I mean, collectively, they're collectively, individually they're very smart. Collectively, they're pretty smart, but they're pretty hell bent on their goal. They don't really. I see them right now not changing their goal. The Lucy wars are getting outrageous right now. This whole thing with Trump, everything goes all the way back to P. Diddy. But to get back to your question. It could be, it seems like it, right? It seems reasonable, but there's so much going on. It's really hard to unravel it all. All I know is that.
Go ahead.
We're in trouble.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I see like some of these entities, like from my research, these things are thousands of years old. And as you said before, Craig and Nino as well, that a lot of these guys are puppets, even though they don't really know they're puppets. They're actual puppets for demons, in my opinion, maybe other entities or whatever. But I mean, if these things have been around thousands of years, man, it just seems like a playbook has been written. And I don't know if you guys saw this in the Epstein report, but there was one scientist who was talking about time travel and about how they need to test the physical, biological effects of time travel on people who are time traveling. And so, like, that's crazy to me. Do you guys believe that they're time traveling? I mean, it's in the Epstein report.
I do. I believe that. I think that, we saw that with the Malaysia flight, right? When it disappeared in thin air. Where did that go? That's time travel. I mean, that thing just disappeared and went somewhere else. So obviously that technology exists. And I think there's quantum leaps and quantum jumps everywhere. I don't doubt that for a second. And I think they, meaning, I guess, the Luciferians, harness and control that technology. And I think, on our plane of existence, the three-dimensional plane we're living on here, we're just getting the crumbs, and they're able to do whatever they want in multiple timelines is what I believe.
Yeah, I tend to believe that as well. I believe that time travel is possible. I believe that anything's possible. I believe it's this universe, this realm that we're living in is highly technical. It's more technical than we know. So yeah, I believe time travel is possible, and I believe that they are working really hard to manipulate. It kind of begs the question, though, these things that we call demons, and I really don't know what to call them. There's so many arguments about what to call them. It doesn't matter. They're there. You can call them whatever you want. Can they time travel? If they can time travel, then we can. I'm not. They seem to be able to. But I think that would be a big advantage for them if they were. So maybe some can, maybe some can. Depends on their class. But yeah, I do believe that time travel is possible. I believe that you can manipulate this system a lot of different ways. You can hack it a lot of different ways. And
with what you've seen, Craig, and I know you've actually witnessed satanic rituals, correct? We can say that.
Yeah.
Okay,
you have
so-
too. You just didn't know it.
What's that?
You probably have too. You just didn't realize it.
Well, I probably see it every day. I mean, every time I watch the Super Bowl, every time I see the Super Bowl commercials, the whole thing. I mean, for people who just say, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in the spiritual realm. That's just all, that's just all, flair and glitter. It's not even real. What do you have to say to those people? Because a lot of people will say it doesn't bother me because it's not even real. It's not even in my paradigm. But obviously, they believe it. The Luciferians believe it enough to where they put it on television. They do rituals on halftime shows, Olympic events. What do you have to say to the
Remember
people?
when Tim Walton? Sorry, go ahead. There's like a delay. It's hard to.
Yeah, there's a little bit of delay.
The people these days who are still questioning, I don't really have time for them anymore. But I mean, you got to catch up. Everybody's good. Everybody, we all know what we're talking about. We're to the point now that we're actually witnessing it, but collectively, humanity just can't wrap our heads around the idea that this is happening, that we're being controlled by this group of weirdos, and it's been going on a long time. And it, there's a lot of different shadows out there that you can pick and choose from, but there's really only one reality. And as soon as everybody realizes it, it'll be a lot easier for humanity. Trying to constantly drag the people along behind, that are behind us is getting wearisome and burdensome at this point. Now, it's time to just let go of them and move and keep moving forward. I mean, that's my opinion, but I tend to be very cynical. I was going to say, remember when Tim Waltz and his wife were on stage hand waving, getting everybody to hand wave? That was spell casting. They were spell casting.
Really?
People see. So you can point that out and say, why are they doing this? And then you can show them the spell, and you go, oh, okay, they're doing exactly what was written, was described.
Yeah, man, I've interviewed like several people this week, and it seemed like it was so weird the way things work. And when I was on your show, Nino, after with 𝗬𝗶𝗶𝗹 𝗠𝗲, like all this stuff started to click. But like when you see like the disclosure thing that they're popping out lately, the AI stuff, the UFOs, all of these weird agendas, man, they just seem to be meant to confuse everybody to the point to where they're just willing to accept whatever comes next. There's just so many weird stuff with all this that it just, when I look at that, like if I were the one pushing all this stuff out, just, in my mind, I would be like, okay, let's make it crazy. Let's just completely destroy people's minds with fake AI videos, everything. So they just can't trust anything at all. And then we're going to give them something that they can grab onto. And it just seems like that's exactly what they're doing. Just the news gets crazier every stinking day, man. And you know this, Nino, because you cover a lot of it, but it's just, there's never nothing to cover. There's always something going on that's crazy.
We've hit a point now.
Whatever happened to slow news days?
Yeah, I think we're hitting a point now of no return. Novelty. And I like to say, novelty now is in high gear. It's like we're going through this bottleneck of accelerating with novelty, right? Novelty spiking, and we don't even know what we can trust. Somebody sent me a TikTok video of me crying, saying that something devastating happened to me, and they're like, "I'm so sorry, my apologies." They assumed something happened to me, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And I looked at the TikTok video. Yeah, it's me, but it's completely AI. Like I'm not doing any of that. But it looks so real, and it's getting better every day. Every day the AI is getting better to where now we're not going to know what's fake and what's for reality. And it's like we've now hit the point of no return. It's like I don't know what to believe anymore. And what's going to happen when we do start making these arrests on these deep state actors? People aren't going to know what to believe either. They're going to be like, that's fake, or that's not real, or that's fake. That's going to put us in a serious predicament.
Yeah, seriously,
yeah, man.
I'm wondering if all this confusion is a setup to. I'm wondering if their ultimate disclosure is to go ahead and admit that everybody is a PDF file. We're all PDF files. We're here. Get used to it, right? We're in control. We're here. I mean, why not? They're to the point now that they can do that, and there's nothing we can do.
Explain.
There's people are going to say, huh?
Explain that.
What?
We're all PDF files. Explain, like we're all code.
Oh, I'm using code.
Okay. So, but like the Matrix, is that what you're saying? Like we're gonna find out?
Oh, no. I mean, I wonder if the disclosure that these 𝗬𝗎𝗍𝗓 are gearing up for is to disclose the fact that we are all being controlled and lorded over by a bunch.
Well, that's
I mean, it seems like
the world. That's the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Seems
They're putting
like
it out
the
there
reality.
more and more. When I look at some of the stuff in those files, I could tell it's based on reality, but it's fake. It's a fake story because I can see the details. When these things really do, like the kid on the boat. I don't know if you guys saw that one. The kid on the yacht. That happens, but it doesn't happen like that. That's what makes me think that this is fake. They threw that in there for sensationalism.
Those emails were weird. And but like who emails somebody about liking a torture video? Like who emails, like why would they even do that? That's still crazy to me. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, right. So they're putting all this out there in front of us to get us used to it, to get us groomed into. I mean, in my grandfather's day, my grandfolks would have been just livid and appalled and devastated to hear movement, right? And now here we are dealing with this movement. Well, maybe by the time we're old and gone, just normal everyday stuff. We have farms over here
that's what they're gearing for, the LGBT. They put the P at the end there. I mean, that's obviously what's happening. So here's my understanding of what we're getting at here. So what it seems like, what they tried to put a lid on and cover up and hide from us for so long, now they're just putting anything and everything out there, opening the floodgates with AI. So we don't know what's real, what's reality, what's truth and fiction. We are not going to know the difference.
Well, I think what they tried to hide for so long, they screwed up and rebuilt themselves by their infighting. So like if you look at P. Diddy, he got to the point where he said, "Look, I want more. I want more position. I want more." And they said, "Okay, well, you know what to do. You got to do the blood ritual." And he said, "No, I'm not going to do those no more." And they said, "Okay, you're bluffing. We have enough on you." And he said, "No, you're bluffing." Right? It went back and forth. And now we know that he was having all these parties, all these sex parties that before were just rumors. Now we know it's true. Barrels of lube, but what happened? Nothing. He gambled. He took a chance, but in the end, they revealed themselves. The end result of all their childish infighting is all they did. All they got was they revealed themselves. But I don't think they care anymore. They really don't seem to care anymore. I really do think that they're just going to say, "Look, deal with it. This is who we are. This is what we are." We have so much control now. There's nothing.
I said it's a normalization. It seems like they're trying to normalize it. Yeah.
You sent me some texts, Craig, on actors that have a long list of actors that have sacrificed their children to be into the Hollywood realm or gain power or get more movies and more fame. And you gave me a list of them. And I'm trying to pull it up right now, but is that actually a thing in the 𝗬𝗎𝗍𝗓 world, like a Luciferian world? Like do they do this consciously, willingly, wittingly give up a child for this, or does it just happen? They know that's part of the deal. Like, how does this go down? Like, can you explain that further to my audience?
Well, they're monsters, so it's hard for me to get in the head of a monster. But yeah, they do it all the time. It happens all the time. And not only that, but the higher you get, the more complicated it gets. So, for example, someone that we've is in the news right now, who's on that list, who has a death of a firstborn. A lot of times they follow up with twins. And this particular person did, and then they even will follow that up with triplets, like this particular person did. So the more complicated you get in this ritual, the higher you're going to go. And they do it. These rituals are I mean, they're all over the place. It's sort of becoming a common fact now that child sacrifice has been going on forever, and it still is. And it's the highest form of it's the highest show of loyalty in that world. And they're willing to do it because they know they're going to do it. So they and I don't think they're doing it so blatantly. I think abortion now is sort of taking over, so they can carry a child almost to term and then abort it and get kind of get the same. I don't think it's going to be as good as a
Or
anyway,
in California, it's 28 days later after the child's born, you can still abort it, right? Isn't that also a
right? Yeah. I forgot about that. That makes it easier,
huh? That's really child sacrifice. That's a spiritual. That's feeding the spiritual realm, the evil part, the spiritual realm. That's really what that is, correct? I mean, the Aztecs did it. This goes back thousands of years, this practice, and we're doing it still today.
I was researching a lot of the countries that did this in the past, and almost every single country, like right before its fall, this pedophilia and Satanism was like at the peak of it, like these rituals. And you go back to even Druidism, like, which, a lot of people could argue that the people in charge of our country are into that, but that is huge. Like in Carthage as well, they started by doing their own children, and then they didn't have enough children because they believed that the more that they sacrificed, the more power they would gain. And so then they started using the children of the people that were in the country. Like in Carthage, they would use the children of other people. They would pay them, and they wouldn't pay the mothers if they cried during the ritual, but they would have this big ritual where they did that. And then eventually the people got sick of their children being used, and so they kind of rose up against Carthage. But man, it's like in every single culture that seems like that spear points the downfall of every society. It's crazy.
Yeah, but and that's another thing that makes me suspicious about these files is that they really focus all these emails and all this data. It seems to focus on the sexuality of the whole thing, and that's really secondary. The primary purpose of all these activities and rituals is spiritual. It's not sexual. I mean, it's not like there's a whole bunch get together and created this. It's sort of like an acquired taste. Once you get into that
sex
world,
magic, that's like Crowleyan sex magic.
Well, that's why I brought this picture up right here. I mean, here you go. This goes back thousands of years.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine what the 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗶𝗹 thought when they saw this?
Yeah.
They said, "Oh yeah, this looks like something we do too."
Yeah, I mean, this is what. So they still do this behind closed doors, correct, Craig? I mean, this is still actively happening amongst the elite, correct?
I've never seen these rituals, but if you just crack open a Freemason book, crack open a book like by Crowley, I mean, it's playing out, talks about the rituals and having to be a child underneath the age of 8 and everything. I mean, these are all written in their books.
And that's what we as humans need to deal with. We need to deal with that. Everything else is just distraction. Everything else is just distraction. I mean, if we can't solve this, what are we?
I think that's why it's so important for the Epstein files to come out. I mean, that's the tip of the spear. I mean, if we're really going to get to the,
they're in control of all that. I mean, they're in control of all that. They wouldn't come out if they didn't want them out, and they wouldn't. The stuff that's in there wouldn't be in there if they didn't want it in there. So that's the puzzle. What are they up to? Why did they do this? What are they getting at? Will
they be held accountable?
No. No.
You really don't believe there'll be any this, Craig? I mean, you rubbed shoulders with these people. You hung out with these people. You don't think at all there will be any accountability? You don't think any justice will be served at all? You think they're in charge of everything that's going on right now?
I believe they're all in it together. Again, just think of Game of Thrones. It's like, why would if the families aren't going to sacrifice other families, members of other families, just to because some peasants are bothered? No, they don't really have a whole lot of respect for us. They don't really care, and it's getting worse. That's why the censorship and no, I don't think anything's going to ever come out of these. I don't think if anything does happen, it's just going to be for show. It's all just going to be for show. That's all. But if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now, don't you think?
I mean, I think we're in the fight. I think if Hillary would have won 2016, this would have been a wrap a long time ago, and they would have got what they wanted. I think Trump upset the apple cart and has prolonged this fight. I think that we're in the fight. I think that we can win this. I really do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I am a firm believer the fact that we can win this, and that the more people we wake up to this demonic agenda, the faster we will get there. So I'm all in, man. I'm you know, at least I'll save my soul.
Well, I agree with you. I'm a firm believer as well, but
Well, you just said that you feel like
so what?
What's that?
Oh, I mean, what is it? What is it exactly we're going to win? You know, I mean, what's Trump and administration? What is the government going to do for us? I mean,
well, I mean, we wake up to it. It's about the people. The people wake up to this. We see what's really going on. We don't allow it anymore. We hold these people accountable. The court of public opinion, you know. So, I mean, if first of all, if we're in the dark and we don't even know what's happening, we cannot win because we don't even know what the problem is. But now that most people are waking up to this and see the problem and it's staring at all of us in the face, we got to do something about it. And that's what I'm doing. That's what John's doing. That's what you're doing. And if you didn't believe that, you wouldn't be out doing these videos.
Right. But the system that we're counting on to do all this for us has been infiltrated. It's just as corrupt as, I mean, it's a corrupt system. So the only way we can get that to work is if we take over the judicial system. I mean, a lot of these judges are one of them. A lot of these judges go to the parties. They go to the rituals. They're in those positions because they bought it. You know.
It's about as close to noble as you can get in the United States as being a judge. I mean, they sit on their seat forever.
Yeah, right. But no, I mean, I'm with you.
I have hope. I have hope.
I'm glad you do. I have hope too. But my role is to be the cynical old man, to balance things out, right?
Yeah, I think the Trumps seem like good people. I think they seem like they want to make something happen. I hope that there's enough people backing it. I hope the whole, you know, white hat military thing is legit. Like I have hope that it's true. I really do. I hope that
I do too. But I hope that we all hope that. But what if it's not? What if we really are being duped? What if it really is as bad as I think it might be?
Then I go down. I go down knowing that I tried to do the right thing, and I can live with that. I can live with that. I can live with knowing that even if I was duped for something that was righteous. I'm good with that. I can die like that. Like, that's cool. Because I'm not going to live on this earth forever anyway, and my soul does not reside here. So whatever, I go somewhere else and leave this place for everybody else to deal with. But for me, it's like I think we're in the fight. I think I think everything that has happened with Trump and what I believe is an operation, the way this is playing out is so brilliant, and the way I see it strategy wise, this would have been. People need to understand this would have been a wrap with Hillary. It would have been done over sealed deal. Unless they're just having fun with us. Then okay, maybe that could be it for their own entertainment, sick entertainment, maybe. But I think we're in the fight now. Too many people are waking up, and there's an accelerating happening right now. The only issue that I have with Trump, and this is it, I'm going to say it right here, is him bringing in Peter Thiel, AI, the whole shebang. And I'm watching the direction this is going. Like I've been talking about voluntary lockdowns, AI companionship. I mean, that's where I have an issue. Jared Kushner, I have an issue. Gaza, I have an issue. There's certain things that I definitely have an issue with Trump, but it's still in my mind, and I'm sure everyone else's minds, we cannot accept this crazy, sick lunacy, mental illness of the left, of the cultural Marxism, satanic ritual, whatever. I mean, we all know that's there, and anything other than that is better. And it's like, okay, so we're emotionally invested in Trump now. We're all on board with Trump, but then we're getting herded into this AI. So yeah, that's where my mind goes. But like I said, at least I'm still trying to do the best I can to wake people up.
Yeah, and you're doing a good job. Okay, so suppose Trump is who we hope he is, and he is brilliant, and it would make sense for him to bring in all this AI and use the correct people to do it, because he's got to put it on a front. And then once everything is set in place, see, all this stuff could work for us as well. All this stuff that they're setting up, all this infrastructure they're setting up, could actually work for us. It could actually make our lives better. So wouldn't it be nice if we get them to build the infrastructure that they think they're going to use against us, and then kick them out and use it for us. I mean, that's my behind the scenes hope with Trump, is that he is so brilliant that he's allowing this to happen, knowing that at some point he's going to flip it around and turn all those weapons against them so that we can use them. But I know these 𝗬𝗎𝗍𝗓 are never going to give up. They're in this fight now. This is their last stand. This is their last stand. They're not going to give up. So be ready, everybody. You know. I don't know why more people aren't off grid. I mean, I've been living off grid for a long time, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do it right. You know, and if the shit hits the fan and people start coming up into my forest, I don't have a choice. I'm going to have to kick them out, because they're not going to be able to survive up here. And all they're going to do is their stinking corpses are going to muck up my water.
Right. They're going to try to take from you. They're going to be a burden.
Yeah, well, even if they don't even know I'm here, they're going to die, and then I'm going to have to deal with their stinking corpses. So if they come up here, I'm going to take their stuff and run them out. I don't have a choice. It's not
this is in your mind, Craig, and the truth of this is really a bloodline war. It's a spiritual war, and so the Bible is correct, right? I mean, in your belief. I mean, if they believe it, it's got to be real, right? If they believe this stuff and they're doing,
they believe it too. Yeah.
You know, we got to believe there is good. If there's so much evil and they believe in that, we have to believe there's another side to the coin here.
Right. Now, is it Trump? Is the other side of the coin Trump? I mean, that's putting a lot on one man. You know, that's putting a heavy burden. I mean, I hope. And the thing is that he bothers me in some of his rhetoric about, you know, well, I'm never going to heaven, and I don't have anything. I don't have to ask for forgiveness. You know, I wish he would stop doing that. But it could be he's doing it on purpose. You know, he's smarter than I am, and he knows how to manipulate and play these people. I don't know. You know, I just know that.
What's your thoughts on the assassination attempt on, you know, on his life that happened? I mean, it looked like almost like that was divine intervention to me, unless it was completely all faked, right? That's another side of the coin that we need to examine. But I mean, to me, it looked like his life was spared, and it was only done by divine. I mean, look at Charlie Kirk. They didn't mess with that guy, but Trump, I mean, boom, they hit his ear. What's your thoughts on that whole thing?
You know, my first reaction when I first heard about it and looked at it was, oh, this is just fake. This is just a setup. But it you know, it's hard to I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth. But, you know, that's why I'm wavering right here. I go back and forth on that because I still haven't made up my mind on Trump. If Trump is a bad guy, then it's fake. It's fake, right? No doubt about it. If Trump is a good guy, then it was a real attempt. I mean, that's all I can go with at this point. And lately, my leaning on Trump is he's one of them. But then when these Epstein files came out, I started looking through them and realized how fake they are. I'm starting to go back on his side. I don't know if that makes sense. The Epstein files are so fake to me. They're so contrived to me that it's actually a point. It's for Trump in my world.
But is he explain fake? What do you mean by fake contrived? I know a lot of it's redacted, but what's contrived about it? What's fake?
You mean in Epstein files that they put those things together with something in mind, right? I mean, I don't mean that the files themselves are fake, but the effect that they wanted is forced. They're trying to force a certain effect.
Well, everyone thought, you know, the Democrats really pushed for this to come out, and I thought Trump was doing a clever bait and switch type of move here, to where he was going to have them demand it, and then what came out, it was all Bill Clinton. And I feel like that was like a trap for the Democrats. So what they thought they were going to get all this Donald Trump stuff, and all they got was Bill Clinton. I think that was a play, a white hat move, a white hat play. I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like, you know, he kind of snared them. He caught them in a clever move. And I think more that comes out is just going to show more Democrats. So maybe it is controlled at that level.
Well, again, the files, I look through them, they don't look random enough. The whole mess doesn't. I mean, it's a big mess, but you know, it's really easy to go through and find certain stuff, and it seems to be really glaring, you know. And then you know, and the redacted stuff, you know, it's well, the point I'm trying to make is that it seems to me that these files were they worked on them so hard that, you know, you can overdo things, you know, you can stir too much. That's what I'm trying to say. To me, my gut feeling when I look at these files is it's actually a point in Trump's favor. Now, I know they're trying to make it look like he's part of it and all that, and maybe he is, but for me, it's going to take a lot more than these damn files. I mean, Epstein. I'm so sick of Epstein. You know how many Epsteins there are out there? You know how many Epstein islands there are, and they're not all islands. These things are all over. That's why I said you don't know. There could be a ritual going on right. You know, you're in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. There could be something going on just right below you. You know,
yeah, a few floors down. Right.
They're trying to make it sound. It seems to me like they're trying to make it sound like, okay, if there's no connection between you and Epstein, then you're not a pedophile. If there is a connection, then you probably are a pedophile. And as far as Trump is concerned, look, it's kind of like they're teasing you, saying, "Oh, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, maybe he is." See what I mean? It's just the whole thing looks too worked to me.
Right. Those emails, like I said in the emails, like when you're telling people you enjoyed a torture video or you enjoyed this, like that, who sends literally who would send an email like that? Even if you did do it, would you send an email to somebody saying, "Hey, I like that torture video," and implicate yourself? I mean, I don't know. When I look at those emails, they seem fake to me.
Especially these guys who are in the business of blackmail.
Yeah. Like open a
I wouldn't write.
Let me find it. I'll find that.
Yeah, because I'm not familiar with this. I heard something about that.
Wasn't that Bill Gates?
It might have been
Bill Gates. Yeah.
And they were stating who would do that? But maybe, you know, like they've said before, we have it all. You know, that's what they've said on the boards, right? We have it all. Maybe they're putting this type of stuff out there. I mean, they've already got this guy where they want him, and they got to keep the public now.
They said we have it all, you know, a couple of years ago, but there's recent stuff in there. Like there's stuff in there all the way up to the 19th. So how do they know they have it all before they had it all? Yeah.
So here's I'm looking at this one. It's redacted to who it's to, or so it's to Jeffrey. But it basically saying, "Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video." And then the Jeffrey emails back, "I'm in China. I'll be in the US second week of May," sent from his BlackBerry. And so like who sends that? That's what I don't get. Like, why would you send a video or a email implicating yourself, knowing that all emails are gonna be seen? I mean, there's no way you can encrypt and maybe hide it from some people, but you can't encrypt and hide it from the government, from the Patriot Act. I mean, there's no encryption that's going to keep them from understanding or seeing these emails.
But maybe they're just all so arrogant and so confident, and you know, they never thought they were going to get caught, right? So
yeah,
that could be another part of this, you know.
True.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, they just don't care.
And like, you know, when the witness is describing to the FBI agent about, you know, climbing onto a yacht and seeing, oh, there was a little boy over here and they were tearing up. There's some people were snacking on stuff over there. That's not the way it happens. That's sloppy. These guys are they're not going to waste a ritual like that. You know? Just they're making it sound like, you know, there's just a bunch of, you know, random casual cannibalism going on. That's not the way it works.
So let's just touch back on what we started this video with, which is going to be the voluntary lockdowns. I believe the civil unrest is going to kick off so bad that people are going to choose to stay home. And the reason that it's going to kick off so bad is because we're waiting for that ripe moment to bring in the military that will do the sweeping arrest, take off, you know, these people that are storming Walmarts and storming churches. They're all being documented. They're all being put in a database. You better believe there's people with plain clothes on, walking around, recording everybody who's involved, getting their facial recognition, finding out where they are, where they live. They're all being put in a database. They're all being tracked and traced. And that's why I think they're allowing this to take hold and have them get more emboldened, get more justified, have them rage out of control a little bit more. Because so when the sweeping arrests come and the raids come, just like we did with the border with Biden, all of those immigrants were tracked and traced. I believe they're doing the same thing with these protesters. And when the time comes and Trump says, you know what, I'm invoking the Insurrection Act nationwide, I'm coming in, and he goes after everybody, the military's on the streets, boom, that's it. That's when it hits. They all go down. They do massive arrests, and I think he's waiting for that right time. Let me get your all's opinion on that. Go ahead, John.
So I think that you're right. I'm pulling up a scripture in Second Esdras, which is like Second Ezra. It's a apocryphal book, and this is talking about like the end times. And I'm just going to read a few verses. It's a whole prophecy about it. But if you read it, it seems like it's talking about end time books. Yeah, it's an amazing book. Yeah, and it looks like it's literally talking about us. I mean, if I started at the beginning, you would see it. But I'm going to start in verse 16. It said, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. Because of the pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." And it continues to talk about having no pity on each other's neighbors, people just going through and slaughtering everybody, dude. And I think like this is exactly what you're saying is exactly point on with what we see in Bible prophecy.
Yeah, I think we're coming to that culmination of everything. You know, we're going through that bottleneck of novelty accelerating at a speed now that what used to take every couple months or every couple years is now happening every day, every hour. Every time you open your phone and you swipe, you're seeing new protests, new violence, new shootings. I mean, it's raging out of control. I think we're there now. And I think this is prophecy, 100% prophecy. And I do believe this is a spiritual war. Craig, any last thoughts on that?
Yeah, it seems like the only way out of this is for men to start assembling. I probably get shot for saying this, but men in America need to start assembling again, start talking, start getting together again, start planning, looking out for each other. I mean, they got us so isolated right now. They got us so fighting right now. We need to stop, get back together.
We got to do some conferences together, guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, but I think we're just knocking on the door, man. I'm being serious. If people just saying this is too much, I'm gonna just stay home. I mean, I'm already like that. Even I'm in Vegas, and I'm like, I get bad social anxiety. Like I don't know what's going on, but even with me, I'm realizing I'm having less and less tolerance for people, man.
So are we. So is my wife's a nurse. She's feeling the same thing. She's been a nurse forever, and people are mean and very, very apprehensive these days. Everybody is. So I think if we all just get together, and when I say men, these are the old ways. We got to go back to the old ways. We need to get back together. Thanks for showing that.
Yeah, Craig, Silicon Satan. A software engineer's narrow escape from the Luciferian elite satanic control over Silicon Valley. Please, folks, get this book. You had to write it as fiction, correct? But it's based on true events. Right.
Yeah. So I don't really recommend the book, but if you want to know what goes on in these rituals, buy the book. You'll learn. Okay. You'll learn. You'll learn. I don't. It's very graphic. I tell you what's going on.
Well, I appreciate you gentlemen both joining me. I got to say, John, thank you so much for introducing me to Craig. I always love when John co-hosts my shows. It's always a great mix. Guys, anything else that you want to say to my audience? Are we good?
I just want to say thank you, Nino, for having me on. And thank you, Craig, I enjoy your guys' company, man. We definitely got to get some in-person stuff together. I think that would be good for people. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think an in-person would be the next step. So we'll plan that out, John. You want to?
Yeah, let's do it, man. That'd be
fun.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, guys, maybe we'll go to your compound, man. That might have to. But all right, guys, thank you so much. Guys, stay with me just for a moment, will you?
Yep.